Hey guys, gals, and in-between pals. My name is Synth, or Chance, whichever one you prefer, and welcome to my video. I hope you're having a good time zone, whatever time it is in your zone. Welcome to episode 6 of But That's a Different Story. Last time I told you about when a teacher had to trust me a little bit more than she was comfortable with her kitchen. This time I'm going to tell you about a time a teacher had to trust me a little bit more than she was comfortable with again. This time it's English class. So, picture this. It's 11th grade. I have AP English. I have to read a book called In Cold Blood. Now, In Cold Blood is a book that is based on a true story about two spree killers. They were interviewed in jail by Truman Capote, who wrote the book. I enjoyed the book when I was younger. I don't know how it holds up now with my adult brain, but who knows? Maybe it's good. It should be good. Truman Capote's supposed to be a pretty good author. Anyway, so I read the book and we had to do a 10-page term paper based on something to do with this book. Anything. It could have been anything to do with the book. And I was really interested in serial killers at the time. Now, as I just said, these two guys were spree killers. Now, I hear you asking, Chance, what is the difference between a spree killer and a serial killer? I'm so glad you asked. The difference is that a spree killer kills many people in rapid succession, with little to no cooldown between them. Though they're not a mass murderer yet necessarily until they've killed a certain number of people. I'm not certain on the threshold on that one. But a serial killer normally has a cooldown period and sort of a signature to their killings or their victims or that kind of thing. That is pretty consistent. Though that's not always true, but it is pretty consistently true. But so I went to my teacher and I said, hey, I know these guys are spree killers, but I wanted to do a paper about what makes someone into a serial killer. And she said, you know what? Because you know the difference between a spree killer and a serial killer, you can do this paper. I said, yes, all right, great, perfect. So I went and I did a whole bunch of research in the school library and the public library, and I just did a lot of research. I was already really interested in serial killers, and this just gave me the opportunity to just special interest the hell out of that. Though some of the signs of becoming a serial killer did hit a little close to home, to be honest. But that was a thing to unpack in therapy later. So I wrote my paper, and we had to do a visual presentation as well that went along with the paper. And she had a list of what we could choose to do. There was like a poster board and things like that. And the very bottom of the list was a performance. I was like, ooh, a performance, you say? I'm a theater student. Let's do this. So I asked her if I could do a performance, and she said, I have literally never had a student take that option. Go for it. I don't know how you're going to do it with your subject, but sure. And I didn't tell her anything. I wouldn't tell her what I was doing. I wouldn't practice around her. Nothing. I wouldn't practice around other teachers so they couldn't tell her. It was great. So, the day of the performance happens, and she's certain she'll know what I'm going to do when I come in with my props and stuff, right? I come in with nothing. Nothing at all. Not a backpack, not a notebook, not a pencil. Nothing. Just to torture her. She's so mad. It's so funny. I had to borrow a pencil to write down that I wanted to go last. So I let everybody go. It's my turn. I run out of the room. I go down to the theater room where I had all my props and everything. I put on an apron. I come back. And I enter and begin doing a Julia Childs style cooking show. Hello and welcome to my show. Today we're going to make a serial killer. So I begin throwing words that I've printed out into a bowl that I'm using, mix them up, like head injury and torturing animals and overbearing parent, that kind of thing. The elements that could potentially cause someone to become a serial killer, and talking about how these things can affect someone long term. All while speaking in this Julia Child's voice. And at the end, I said, and then you let it sit for 20 to 30 years. And thankfully, I have prepared one beforehand. And I pull out a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer. Everyone loses it. Everyone loves it. And come back next time when we see how to make a spree killer. Just to kind of jab at the fact that these are spree killers and not serial killers. My teacher loved it. She said, How did you come up with that? I have no idea how you came up with something like that for your subject. I said, ma'am, I'm a theater student. You know, I've been a theater student my whole life. I've been in theater forever. And oh my god, this reminds me of this one time backstage when, but that's a different story. Thank you so much for being part of my video and being one of my patrons and everything. I really appreciate your viewership and support. I'm going to leave my socials down in the description if you want to follow me. Hit that subscribe button and the bell if you want to be notified of when I do make new videos. Hopefully I'll be making more of those more frequently. But anyway, my name is Synth or Chance, and I'm signing out.